North Frisian Islands. The North Frisian Islands, or Reng and Furing, Soring, are the Frisian Islands off the coast of North Frisia. The term covers both the North Frisian Islands in the narrow sense in Schleswig-Holstein, Germany, and the Danish Wadden Sea Islands in Denmark. However, culturally and linguistically, the Danish islands are usually not reckoned as being part of North Frisia, since they are not inhabited by native speakers of the North Frisian language. Occasionally, the remote island of Heligoland is also included in this group for reasons of administrative convenience, despite not being located in a Wadden Sea, since the island is home to its own unique dialect of Frisian. History. After the Frisian and Danish colonization of the islands in the 8th century, the Frisian populated hundreds between Idestedt and Sylt became the Utland. The North Frisians in the Utland were ruled directly by the Danish king and were known as Königsfrisian or King's Frisians. Only later did the Utland transfer to the Duchy of Schleswig, with the exception of small Danish royal enclaves. Part of Roma was also ruled by the Schleswig Duke. After the German-Danish Wars, the islands from Nordstrand to Roma became Prussian in 1866. After the referendum in 1920, the current border between the islands of Sylt and Roma was fixed. A good and thorough overview of the life, work, languages, costumes, and customs of the island Frisians is portrayed by the Carl Heberlein Frisian Museum in Wiggalfur. Islands. There are 4 larger islands and 10 tiny islets. The names of the large islands are Sylt, Furher, Amrum, and Pilgrim. The islets are called Halligjen. In medieval times, the present-day peninsula Nordstrand and Pilgrim as well as the Halligjen were part of the large island of Strand. This island was torn to pieces in a disastrous storm tide in 1634. Sylt Soring North Frisian, Sol, is the largest of the North Frisian islands, consisting of about 100 km2. It is accessible by a causeway called the Hindenburg Dam. This causeway is only accessible to trains. In the summer months, the island is crowded with tourists, including those who have a preference for nudism. Sylt's image is that of a meeting point for the jet set. The main town on the island is Westland. The northern end of Sylt, the Ellenbogen Elbow, is Germany's northernmost point. Lager Sylt, the Nazi concentration camp on Alderney, was named after the island. Compared with Sylt, Furher Furing North Frisian Fair is a relatively silent island. Its area is 82 km2. 16 old hamlets are scattered over the island, some of which already existed in the 13th century. The main town is Wyk on the southeastern shore. Wyk is a popular German seaside resort. There is no bridge or causeway connecting Furher and the mainland, so ferries are the only connection. The ferry port, the harbour and Furher Marina are in Wyk. Amrum Reng North Frisian, Umrum is only 20 km2, but it is popular with tourists, though less crowded than Sylt. The western half of the island features a beach 12 km in length and 1 km in width. The villages are situated on the eastern shore, with Widdum being the most important of them. Helwern North Frisian Pulwerum, Wering North Frisian, Pulwerum, and the peninsula of Nordstrand Moring, Nordstrand are the remains of the submerged island of Strand. The main town of this sunken island was Runhol, thought to be the largest town in the surrounding area, but it was totally destroyed and submerged by a storm in 1362, 272 years before another storm destroyed Strand itself. Nordstrand has an area of 49 km2, Pelham 37 km2. Smaller remains of Strand are the 10 islets called Halligjen. The houses on these tiny islets are built on artificial hills. In a storm tide only these hills rise above the sea, while the remainder of the islet is flooded. The names of the Halligjen are Nordmarschlandnes, Norderug, Suderug, Nordstrand Dishmore, Oland, Sudfall, Grootepelland, Hurge, Habel and the Hamburger Hallig. West of the Halligjen, 3 drying sandbanks form the so-called North Frisian Barrier Islands, Japsund, Norderugsund and Suderugsund.